Well, the Tigers versus Cubs series this weekend lived up to the billing. A World Series preview, as many were calling it. Fantastic series, worked out very well for my Tigers as opposed to my Cubs. Game one, uh, Turk Skubal game, of course, on Apple TV Plus, which was probably frustrating for some people.
Not me.
I was easily able to subscribe, although the price went up. I thought it was $7 a month. It's now $10 a month.
Oh, I don't even know. I've got it all in like a package, like a
Okay.
family plan because of my children. It's just all wrapped up into one bundle.
Okay. Are you all right over there? So I did notice they planned it perfectly, so I have to subscribe for 2 months now because July 4th is Cardinals Cubs, and then July 11th, just over the 1 month marker, is Mariners Tigers. So the folks at Apple get another $10 out of me, so I guess I'll live with it. But
watch those shows. You got those shows to watch.
Yeah, we went over that last week. So yeah, what was it? The Studio? Is that what I'm supposed to be watching?
Studio and
what's the John Hamm one?
Friends and Neighbors.
Okay. Check that out. So Tarek Skubal threw a 7 2/3 inning gem, really pointing out the obvious difference between two pretty similar teams in a lot of ways. Tigers just have superior front end pitching, front end of the rotation, and honestly a better bullpen. They don't have the same marquee names on the offensive side that the Cubs do, but they put up the runs and they have the critical hits at the critical moments. The series was that even. It was Tigers ended up scoring a total of 8 runs. Cubs had a total of 7 runs, 6 of which were scored on Saturday. But Tigers take game 1 behind that. Tarek Skubal, incredible performance, 7 2/3, 6 strikeouts, 0 walks, of course, because he doesn't walk anybody. Those both teams are similar to each other in that they maximize the running game, and anytime they have a chance to take an extra 90 feet, they do. The two of the best teams going first to third. Saw that on display multiple times. Both are buttoned up defensively. It's just the Tigers were just slightly better defensively and on the bases. Game 1 featured an outfield assist from Kerry Carpenter, throwing out Ian Happ at the plate. Bit controversial. It was a close call. The Cubs are challenging that. They were trying to say that Dylan Dingler was blocking the plate, which was not the case. And then they were saying he was safe. He was called out. I think they said the call stands. So it was a close play. I think he was out. I saw a lot of social media backslash with still shots, which are never conclusive because you don't know the time where the ball is, or if he had tagged him earlier in that sequence. So nice try, but it's funny, like viewing this. Typically I'm viewing every Cubs game from the lens of a Cubs fan, but I definitely was not this weekend. So I'm seeing like Cubs fans just like rolling my eyes like, you're wrong, but I'm sure I've been on the other side of that as well. So,
oh, you sure have.
Game 2, I did not really pay super close attention to for a few reasons. I was hosting a garage sale all weekend, so I did rig up a TV out in the garage just expressly to watch the game. Unfortunately, it was another bullpen game, pitching chaos for AJ Hinch, which is not working out nearly as well as it did at the end of last season. Cubs got a lead early, and I was having to talk to neighbors and shoppers. I had like 200 people come through, I think. So it was a successful garage sale if you were concerned.
I was actually. I was going to ask you how it went. So now I don't have
great.
to. I was going to do that post show, but now it's already done.
I got rid of everything. So congratulations to me.
You did?
Oh, that's awesome. I was giving
Yeah.
Well, I was selling stuff on Friday to like the pros, the professional garage sale pickers that come through. You can tell what they're doing. Just going to turn stuff around for a profit at whatever resale shop. But
yeah,
I was able to charge them. And then day 2, I need shit to go. So I put up signs everywhere. Everything is free. Please take it. So
nice.
People were fired up about that. So
I'm familiar with that move from my recent visit to Kansas.
Yeah. I don't think anyone else gives a fuck about my garage sale success or lack thereof, but that would also the Cubs went up early in that game, so it's kind of easy to tune it out and just know it was not going to happen. One interesting thing from game 2 I noticed was the Cubs were not happy with the home plate umpire that day, Doug Edding. To which point he you could hear him clearly on the microphone, on-field microphones, just giving it back to the Cubs, but in a really weird way. He's like, "I know, I'll get better. I don't want to hear it from you." So he's like admitting that he was fucking up. It couldn't have been more clear though. Like normally you don't hear things like just it was like as you and I talking to each other right now. It was that clear. Him yelling at the Cubs bench, and that they didn't have to bleep it out because unfortunately there was no swear words. So and they didn't have to take out the mic. But I just thought that was hilarious. But the umps were another subject in game 3.
Oh yeah, they were.
Which Tigers dominated 4-0. Jack Flaherty had 9 strikeouts over 6 innings.
Hasn't he kind of owned the Cubs his entire career?
Well, coming from St. Louis, he's been a thorn in their side. So yeah, it was a good matchup for the Tigers. So just another example of how the front end of their rotation is just right now at least superior to the Cubs, and that was on full display. But that day's home plate umpire Derek Thomas found it offensive somehow that Nico Horner just told him he was having a bad day.
I know, that's so fucking weird. Like it's ad nauseum here in Chicago that
I've been listening.
He got ejected, and like it's just like it's like every hour I feel like, because it is funny. It's funny that he looked at him and just said, "I'm having a bad day," and
I think you're having a bad day, is what he's saying.
Yeah, I think you're. So. Yeah, I mean,
I heard Nico talking about. And first of all, if anyone doesn't know, Nico is like the most mild mannered, like quiet guy. He comes on Spiegel and Holmes every week, and he did today, telling more of the story. But he's a highly intelligent, thoughtful person. Does not get very emotional about anything, and even in this case, he was not very emotional. He literally just turned around to Derek Thomas and just said, "I think you're having a really bad day." And I think it was almost like the brutal honesty that just slapped the ump in the face somehow and forced him to decide to eject Nico Horner from the game immediately. And then the other funny parts of that is Craig Counsell comes out immediately, and Nico looks at him right away, and you can see him say, "All I said was he's having a really bad day." And then Craig Counsell eventually got ejected because it was ridiculous for anyone to be ejected for merely saying, "I think you're having a bad day." So there's clearly no profanity. There's no ambiguity about what was said, and it was just not to the level of ejecting any player. So I think I'll just throw this in there. We don't have an asshole of the week, so I think I might as well give Derek Thomas our asshole of the week. Just another example of a thin-skinned umpire,
right? Yeah,
affecting the game in a negative way when they're not. That's the opposite of what they're supposed to be there for. So I don't know if it's necessarily an ump show. The hashtag ump show coined a few years ago, I think by Keith Law, but just affecting the game on something that just is essentially just he had a bruised ego and threw a tantrum and threw Nico out. So unfortunate. I'm not sure how much it affected the game. I think that was in the 5th inning. Tigers were already up. I think they're up 4-0 at that point. So went on to hold on and win the series 2-1. So really, really close series. Well played. I think the Tigers just proved they're a little bit better in those in the margins. The base running, defense. There was one other tidbit I thought I was going to bring up.
You also wonder too if they don't have to worry about like these bullpen games if they just sweep the Cubs, which makes the series not be marginally better. It makes it be like dominantly better. Because you take the bullpen game out of it, or who's the other guy that started?
Casey Mize started on Friday.
No. Who's the guy who started in the Sox series that just came back from the?
Sawyer Gibson.
Yeah, I think he's pitching tomorrow or whatever.
I think he might be pitching tonight, actually.
Or tonight. That's right.
Oh no, it is tomorrow. They don't play tonight. You're right. You're totally
tomorrow.
right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, they're
Like
short. The
they're
rotation is short right now because Reese Olson's on the IL. Jackson Jobe
yeah.
just went on the IL, so that explains the having to resort to pitching chaos again. But yeah, it would have been interesting if they had their full rotation
I mean,
available.
I'm not saying this out of like to do a Cubs dig, but I think the level's a little further apart
Mm,
with the Tigers and the Cubs. I think the Tigers are a little further ahead, a little more further. They're further ahead than the
yeah.
Cubs. It's not like neck and neck.
Okay.
And the fact that I think the biggest thing, and you pointed it out already, is the bullpen. Like the Cubs
Yeah.
bullpen, that's going to ultimately, if there is a downturn at some point in the season for the Cubs, it's going to be because the bats cool down just a little bit, and if that does happen, because it's probably bound to happen at some point,
Mm, boy.
the bullpen is going to cause a lot of hair pulling of for those with hair of Cubs
Yeah. Thanks.
fans.
Thanks.
Sorry about that. Sorry.
I
I realized during our ACDC show at one point that I was like me and
You're the only haired person there.
there's the only person with fucking hair at this whole fucking show in my group. What the fuck?
Well, we can talk about my shit or my hair or my garage sale, but we were clearly digressing. Uh, I think you're giving the Cub or the Tigers compliments because you want to pump up how well your White Sox played against my Tigers this past
Well,
week.
are they still the best team in baseball? They were the best team in baseball when the Sox split a series with them.
They have been for 2 months, and they continue to be now. And actually, all the power rankings are finally recognizing that, moving the Dodgers or Yankees out of the way. The Tigers are number one, at least on MLB's power rankings. I'm not sure if ESPN moved them, but
Fucking took
yes,
long enough.
Tigers are the best team in baseball, and they lost 2 games to your Chicago White Sox.
Pow pow! Pow
Yeah,
pow!
yeah,
Pow pow!
you got really fired up about that. Meanwhile, you still have the second worst record in all of baseball, despite that. But
Yeah.
congratulations.
Somehow we have the second worst record in all of baseball, but you got to look at the sunny side of things. We're over the halfway point to total wins from last year
Yes, yes,
at
another
22.
congratulations, another
Thank you.
congratulations. So yeah,
But
honestly, I think that series, Cubs, sorry, it's Sox Tigers series, that could have it was 2-2, but it could have easily been 3-1 either
either
way.
way, yeah, I
I mean,
agree. I agree. You sent me that text. I agree with you 100%.
those first 2 games were blowouts on each side, 13-1 Tigers, and then 8-1 White Sox in game two.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
after that, it was anybody's ball game in the remaining 2 games. And in fact, the fourth game went into extra innings. So really tight series, which was kind of surprising and a bit disconcerting for Tigers fans, especially on Detroit Sports Talk Radio after that series. Going into the Cubs series, there's a little consternation that was erased by their performance over the weekend. So, but yeah, I did want to make sure I got that in there. That I think your Sox looked every bit as good as the Tigers, at least that week. Of course, again, the Tigers are a little bit short in their rotation right now, but that explained a few things. But part of the issue, and we mentioned it during
Yeah.
last week's show, is AJ Hinch kind of made things harder on the Cubs or on his own team and the
Yep.
Tigers, uh, just by pushing Tarek Skubal back a day so he would not pitch in the Sox series. He would pitch game one of the Cubs series. And I called it cocky at the time, just assuming that he could get away with doing a couple more bullpen games. Not 100% bullpen. Game two was a bullpen game. They lost. Game three, the aforementioned Sawyer Gibson Long, is effectively a bullpen game because this was his first start in 2 years.
Right.
He had only pitched 16 and a third innings in the minors. He had only gone 5 innings on his last minors appearance. So I think I said I would have been happy if he got through three. I don't even know what he actually, I can't remember what
I
he
think it
actually
was
got through.
definitely in, I thought it was through 4, but
But it was calling upon the bullpen again to get them through right after a full bullpen day. Tigers figured it out, but the real problem came when Casey Mize started on Thursday and couldn't get out. I don't think he got out of the third inning. which further exasperated an already depleted bullpen that led to an extra innings game, which you prevailed. It's got the series split. So yeah, I can whine that the Tigers' rotation is thin and injured right now, but I think AJ kind of fucked himself on that. Kind of got a little bit arrogant, as Bruce Levine called him on his Saturday morning show uh, inside the clubhouse. He thought it was hilarious that the Sox split the series because of AJ's arrogance. So I don't know. I love AJ. I think he's the best manager in baseball. He makes 10 times as many good calls as he does bad. So I was against it. I guess I understand why he pushed School back. I mean, it was a marquee matchup. It was a statement series. It's kind of changed or cemented at least the outlook of what we believe the Tigers are. So I think it was it's hard to say. It was in a more important game than game 4 of a 4-game series against the White Sox, but every game counts. So I don't know. Were you insulted? I don't remember what we just how we just like decided that was going to work out. But
I mean, honestly, if I was AJ Hinch, I would have done the same exact thing, because you want to see how your number one guy, like it was different last year because you guys turned it on at the end, but they didn't have to deal with that pressure through the whole season. Right. Now he's going to take Scooble and he's going to put him in a pressure cooker situation, saying, I'm not going to play you against the team that's 22 games under 500 right now. I'm going to play you against a team that could very well be, as you pointed out, a World Series foe. They're definitely a playoff team.
Well, and it was a playoff atmosphere for sure, with the whole series sold out, standing room only. Lots of Cubs fans made the trip as well, so it felt like a playoff game, and it was played like a playoff game too. It was so that's a really good point by you. Like that's like a primer almost, like getting them ready early for the playoff atmosphere.
Yeah, there's no reason not to do it. I mean, honestly, you're on the road in Chicago. I mean, I know the Sox are obviously they're much better, which the bar is so fucking low to say that. It doesn't mean all that much, but at the same time, a series split against a division foe is not a bad thing. It's not an unheard of thing of playing some awful teams sometimes. It's like you go to the ballpark and you go on the road and you split a series. But and I get what you're saying, all the games count the same, but I also think Tigers fans feel a lot better about a series win over the Cubs than a series loss over the Cubs and a series win over the White Sox.
That's a great point too. I'm just thinking about that. Yeah, if we won the Sox series 3-1, but lost 2-1 to the Cubs, I'd have a very different feeling today. Which, I mean, that's kind of the silly nature of of baseball analysis in general. But I like it. I like how it worked out, but it wasn't certainly ideal, and it almost worked out. Considering Game 4 was an extra inning games, it could have worked out in the Tigers' favor, and then AJ would look like the genius that I think he is. But
we poured it on, and that was it.
That's right. You said, while I was sending you complimentary texts, you were sending me like some gif of a guy punching me in the face, saying I'm knocked out.
Days earlier. That was. Wasn't it? Or was it that game? I don't even know.
I got a lot of violent texts from you.
I know. I'm a Sox fan. That's what we do. We run it. We beat up umpires. No, you've never done
violent stuff before.
We beat up umpires. I mean.
I've seen that, but
I was just doing it as a joke, like a knockout thing. Jesus, calm down, man. I wasn't promoting violence. I was just like knockout.
Felt very violent.
Oh. Okay, well, calm down over there.
I'm sensitive to violence.
I'm not going to punch you or anything. Don't worry about it.
I think we're 250 miles apart.
Word Hole Media.